Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and hit the bell icon. The Curse of Oak Island. A brand new dig at the Money Pit yields almost instant results. On the Curse of Oak Island this week, the team recommenced digging at the Money Pit as they christened a new shaft and almost instantly began pulling up artifacts. After last week's disappointment when the TF1 shaft ended in failure, there was a renewed vigor and optimism amongst the Fellowship of the Dig as drilling began for a second time. Rick Lagina introduced Dan Henske to the drill team as the elder statesman of Oak Island, and Dan was given the honor of starting the drill and naming the new shaft. He christened it Early Christmas 1, or EC1 for short. The giant 10-foot wide steel caisson, which began carving out the shaft, was placed just a few feet to the east of the failed TF1 shaft. The guys are hopeful that EC1 will be a success, as it was in this area that they previously discovered wood dating all the way back to 1488, and they also uncovered traces of gold and silver. However, the team had two very specific goals with this hole. Firstly, they were aiming for what is believed to be a collapsed tunnel that may contain the scattered remains of treasure. The historical record states that during a dig in 1861, a collapse occurred at approximately 90 to 118 feet. This caused a chamber to shatter, spreading the gold and silver across a wider area. Secondly, the guys also suspect that at a slightly deeper depth, they'll come across the Chappell Vault. Named after William Chappell's dig of the 1930s, the vault is thought to contain an unknown amount of riches. The drill moved fast and soon uncovered artifacts. The drill team moved really fast, and by the middle of last night's episode, they were already hitting a depth of 80 feet. It was at this point, and much to the team's relief, that the hammer grab began pulling up wood. It was essential that they first find wood. Wood was required to show the presence of a tunnel collapse and a chamber that could contain a vault. Once the hammer grab went past 86 feet, it started pulling out numerous axe-cut wood beams, and some of this stuff looked really old. The next step is to get some of this wood carbon dated to find out its true age. And hopefully next week, the team will break through the wood and start pulling up some real treasure. Jack Begley found another intriguing artifact. Also, on last night's episode, Jack Begley uncovered a curious artifact from the spoils of the TF1 shaft. It appeared to be a small piece of parchment, which excited the guys, as one theory states that ancient documents may have been buried at the Money Pit. The artifact was handed over to some experts at the Interpretative Center who analyzed it closely and determined that it was not parchment but a special kind of paper used to wrap explosives, specifically dynamite. In 1909, an excavation, partly funded by future U.S. President Franklin D. Roosevelt, detonated dynamite in a shaft at the Money Pit. Marty Lagina saw this revelation as good news. He suggested this could explain why they had found fragments of gold and silver. He reasoned that if dynamite were detonated near a deposit of treasure, it would blow off small pieces. Therefore, they must be near the main deposit. The fog clung to the island like a ghostly shroud as the crew of the Curse of Oak Island prepared for a new day of digging at the infamous Money Pit. The morning sun struggled to break through the thick mist, casting eerie shadows over the landscape. Despite the early hour, the team was wide awake, their excitement palpable. This was no ordinary dig. Today, they were beginning a new excavation at a site they believed could finally unlock the secrets that had eluded treasure hunters for over 2 centuries. Rick and Marty Lagina, the brothers at the helm of this decades-long quest, stood side by side, their faces set with determination. They had spent years combing through historical documents, analyzing geological surveys, and consulting with experts. This new dig site, marked by a strange anomaly detected through advanced scanning technology, promised to be the most promising lead they had ever pursued. The heavy machinery roared to life, breaking the silence of the island. The crew moved with precision, each member knowing their role in this well-coordinated dance of man and machine. The ground trembled as the drill bit into the earth, inching closer to the depths where untold treasures or traps might await. The first few hours were tense but uneventful. Dirt and rock gave way grudgingly, and the crew's spirits wavered between cautious optimism and creeping doubt. But then, as the sun finally began to burn off the last of the fog, something extraordinary happened. The drill struck something solid, and not just any rock or boulder. It was wood, ancient and weathered, yet unmistakably shaped by human hands. A collective gasp went up from the crew. Rick and Marty exchanged a look of pure astonishment. Could it be that they had finally found it? The legendary Money Pit, the site of countless expeditions and the graveyard of many dreams, was revealing its secrets at last. The dig continued with renewed vigor. As the layers of soil and debris were carefully removed, more wooden beams came into view, arranged in a manner that suggested a purposeful construction. It was as if they had stumbled upon the remnants of an old shaft, perhaps part of the original Money Pit or an undiscovered offshoot. The discovery of the wood was exciting enough, but what came next sent shockwaves through the team. Among the debris, they found a small metallic object encrusted with centuries of grime and rust. It was a coin, ancient and worn, but its markings were still faintly visible. The crew gathered around as Rick carefully cleaned the coin, revealing an inscription that none of them recognized immediately. They rushed the coin to their expert in historical artifacts, who was able to identify it as a Spanish maravedí dating back to the 17th century. This find was significant not just for its age, but for its implications. The presence of a Spanish coin suggested that perhaps the island's legends of buried pirate treasure were more than just myths. The coin was just the beginning. As the excavation continued, they unearthed more objects, fragments of pottery, pieces of metalwork, and even a small chest, its wood rotted but its brass fittings remarkably well preserved. Each find added another piece to the puzzle, hinting at a story of wealth and intrigue, of sailors and pirates, of secrets guarded and lost. The excitement on Oak Island was electric. News of the discoveries spread quickly, drawing renewed interest from historians, archaeologists, and treasure hunters worldwide. Theories abounded. Some believed they had found evidence of Captain Kidd's legendary hoard. Others speculated about connections to the Knights Templar or even the lost treasure of the Aztecs. As they delved deeper into the new shaft, the crew encountered signs of the infamous booby traps that had boarded so many before them. Flood tunnels, cleverly designed to inundate the pit with seawater, began to leak, and the team had to act quickly to stabilize the site. It was a reminder of the perilous nature of their quest, and the ingenuity of those who had gone to such lengths to protect their secrets. But the obstacles only fueled their determination. With each challenge, they grew more resolved to see their mission through. They brought in additional experts, employed cutting-edge technology, and worked tirelessly, driven by the tantalizing possibility that they were on the verge of the greatest treasure find of all time. Days turned into weeks, and the finds kept coming. An intricately carved wooden box, believed to have held precious jewels. A length of gold chain, its links heavy and ornate. A ceremonial dagger, its blade still sharp despite the passage of years. Each discovery added depth and richness to the narrative that was unfolding, a story of adventure and mystery that spanned centuries and continents. The Money Pit, long a symbol of frustration and futility, was beginning to yield its secret.